There we go. Perfect timing. Welcome everyone to the Create-a-thon, Make Learning Meaningful. What we're going to do today is showcase some great creations utilizing the graphic creation in Adobe Express. Make sure throughout our time together, if you have any questions, you can drop them into the chat. Let me know what you're thinking about what we are doing and sharing today. And feel free to use those reactions and emojis as well to let me know how you're feeling. My name is Lori Roberts, and I am a lead learning guide with a company called FriEDTech. And we are a professional development provider, and we partner with Adobe to bring their fantastic product to all of you as educators to see how we can utilize this in our classroom with students. Before working with FriEDTech, I was a tech coach and a high school CTE teacher that used Adobe in my classroom every single day, and I am so happy to be sharing my love for Adobe Express with all of you as well. So on the screen and now in the chat, there is a link to a resource deck that will give us access to some templates we're going to be utilizing in just a little bit. It's also going to have access for you for a ton of resources that you'll have available to you after we are done today. And I'll be sure to add that. We'll reference that link multiple times today. So it's in the
Lori,
chat. Yep.
it's a new feature that in Google where you hover over, you can pin that. So if we have any late arrivers, they can still join along. Just
Perfect. Thank you for that. I didn't know that was there. Nice.
welcome.
Nice. Okay. So that link is in there for you. And we will go ahead and jump in and begin. So during our time together today, we are going to be hands-on and we're going to be looking at two different design challenges within Adobe Express. Learn how we can utilize the editing features and the editor, and then how we can take some of the fantastic Adobe Lessons resources and templates and turn them into challenges for your own students in your classroom. Adobe Express is a great way to create presentations, images, animations, videos, and web pages. So if you haven't used it before, you are in for a big treat today as we start to utilize this tool. So again, as mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about the challenges, how easily they can be adapted and integrated into your own classroom. Then we're going to look at and play along with a challenge for yourselves. So we're going to remix one together and edit it on your own. And then we're going to look at some ways that we can incorporate these challenges into your own classroom and instruction. And then we will take a template from Adobe and turn it into your own interactive exemplar that you can share with your students so that they can see how they can start creating these fantastic graphics in your own classroom related to your content. So we can empower our students to continue to develop their creative potential with intentional and meaningful time spent creating and developing their digital skills. You don't need hours. You can start with just a few minutes. But why do we want to include creative challenges, fun and engaging ways for students to utilize their creativity? Civitas and LinkedIn partnered with Adobe to see the impact of developing creative skills on student outcomes. The findings are that we can improve student grades. This has been seen across different student segments. We have better student retention, better post-grad job prospects. I was a CTE teacher, so to me, I always constantly talk to my students about after they got out of high school, where would they go, and the skills that we would be learning in the class would help them regardless if they were going to college, the military, or out into the job force. And then it also helps improve those long-term career trajectory skills for students as they embark out in the real world, right? But beyond research, which is great, we as teachers know how important it is to foster creativity in our students. And we love this specific challenge design that was done by Rachel Swanson, an educator, who said creativity is a right, which we agree on here at Fried and at Adobe. So let's go ahead and start creating. The first thing we need to do is get logged into Adobe Express. The way you do that is via your ClassLink area, portal, whatever it is that y'all call ClassLink. In my old district, we called it our portal. So you'll go into ClassLink, and within ClassLink, you should have a tile called Adobe Express. It will look like the black square you see here in the middle of the screen with that rainbow A. That's how you'll know you are in Adobe Express. Once you click on that tile, it's going to log you in. If you've never logged in before, it will prompt you with like a welcome message and a couple of other screens that you'll click through some different options on. And once you are logged in, the screen will look like this, except for instead of saying hi FriEDTech, it'll say hi with your name on it. On this home screen, I'm going to briefly talk about a couple of things that I always like to make sure and mention as we start creating. All of the files that you will create live within your Adobe Express. And within there, there is a little button off to the side called Your Stuff in the toolbar. In that toolbar area, that Your Stuff is where all of your stuff lives. So as you're creating, that's where everything goes. You can think of this like your Google Drive or your OneDrive or your iCloud account. So everything goes there. You can create folders if you want to organize that information and those files a little bit nicer and cleaner, depending on how you like to organize your files. But this is where everything lives. So as we create today, this is where it will all live. So after we're done, you can come back and continue to explore and continue to create. So what we're going to do is on that resource slide, so on the resource page I gave you, that FriEDTech/Adobe-create, which again is linked in the chat. At the very top, there is a button that says I am creative template. And this is what we're going to use in order to see how we can start creating and editing within the editor if we've never used that editor before. So I'm going to pop back on over and I'm going to click on that link myself. So right up here at the top, I am creative. Once you click on it, a screen's going to open because this is a template. So it's going to give you a preview of what we're going to create. And this is the template. It's got all of these great items included in it. We're going to learn how we can edit this and make it our own. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to click on Remix This Design. Once you click on Remix This Design, it will make a copy of that file. And in that copy, it is in your Adobe Express file, and now we can edit it. So a few things as this is loading and y'all are getting that loaded. A few points worth noting as we're going to start creating. Unlike a blank piece of paper, the creative challenges provide a prompt for students. They provide structure and opportunities for students to personalize, which is key. So lots of kids and even adults sometimes agonize over a blank piece of paper, right? We look at that blank piece of paper and we're like, where do I even begin? How do I start? These creative challenges allow students to easily change anything that they want. They can personalize the responses, they can personalize images, graphics, and color. They can feel excited to engage and make the challenge unique to them. So whenever each of our students are done and each of you are done, instead of having carbon copies of everybody's assignment that we have to look at and to grade and to review, now every single creation is going to be different, and the challenge invites the creator to make everything their own, which is what we're going to do together right now. So looking at the screen in the editor, this main area in the middle is your actual editor that we can create on. Over on the left-hand side of the screen, you have a toolbar that allows us to go into different tools and make different selections. And directly next to that is a panel that opens up depending on what tool is selected. So whenever we opened up this template, the search panel opens and it's there over on the right that we can start making different selections from. I'm going to go ahead and close mine. So I'm just going to click on that X right there next to search. So that little panel opens. as we discuss some other areas on the screen. Up at the very top is your file name. So in this black bar, this is called the heading area. Up here, you have a file name. And by default, it is pulling the name from that template and it's just adding a little number after it. So if we want to change the name of this, all we need to do is click on that black bar and on that title text, and then we can change it. So I can change the name of this to maybe Creative Design Template or Creative Design Lori. So I know that this is all about me, right? And maybe I could even take this and make it about somebody else. So looking at this challenge, think about it through the lens of right now we're talking about ourselves. I was born creative. I am a creative person. And thinking about all the ways that we're creative, we're going to change this and customize it for ourselves. But this same template and this same challenge could be utilized in a number of different ways in our classroom. So we could have a character in the middle and we have all of these different ways that we're describing that character. We could have a person in history and we can have all of those different ways that we describe that person in history. So the same template, think about it in the mode of all of the different ways that I can then utilize this. So when we look at the template, on the screen, you have a lot of different assets on the screen. So that's all of these different boxes that I can click on. And when I click on them to select them, that panel to edit opens up over on the left. So for example, this one right here that says, I imagine. Maybe I want to change that into something that I feel is a creative outlet for me in a way that I can change that graphic to match that creative element for myself. Now, some of y'all are going to think I'm nerdy, but one of the things that I love to do is I love to Lego. I like to play with Legos. Um, it's like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle. So if you like to puzzle Legos, same sort of thing here. So I like to Lego. So I put I Lego and all I did was double click on that text box and I changed that text into I Lego from I imagine, which is what I think it was before, right? If you make any changes while you're going, you can always undo. So you've got an undo button at the top that I can undo that and it'll bring it back to I imagine, which is what it said before. I can also use the shortcut key. So Control Z will also allow me to undo as well. So like I said, I Lego, and now my picture up here doesn't really match with my text for I Lego. So what I can do is I can select that picture and I can delete it. And then I can go find me a new photo or graphic that I can add in place of there. So over on the left, I have a couple of different options for images that I want to add. One option that I have are different elements. So if I click on elements, there are 4 different types of elements that you can add: design assets, backgrounds, shapes, and then hidden right next to shapes, there are also icons. So I could search for Lego. I don't know if I'm going to get anything. I did. I got some bricks there. And if I click on any of these other options, other backgrounds, shapes, and even icons show up. I could have also searched for like playable bricks or something. That could have given me some options as well. All of your icons can be adjusted, so they're not just black and white. You can actually change the color of them, but it's one color for the whole piece. So if I choose to add in this Lego here, it's going to drop it into the middle of my screen, and then I can easily drag it and move it over to near the text that it goes with. And if I want to change the color, that's where my editing panel comes in. So I can click on the fill color box and I can choose from any of the recommended or page theme colors that are there. I can also open up this option for more colors and I can see a ton of additional color swatches. I can come up to custom and I can pick any color on that color wheel. And then a third option you have is the eyedropper tool, which allows you to pull color from someplace else on your image. So if I really liked this pink color that's on this graphic of the origami birds, I can click on it and it will change my bricks to that color. I can continue to edit and add all of these different options, and I'm about to give y'all some time to play around with those. But I want to point out a couple of other places where we can add in some parts to our graphic to make it our own. So this person here in the middle, it's not me. So I may want to add in myself to this graphic. So what I can do is I can select her and I'm going to hit delete to get rid of her. And I'm going to come over here to media over on the left. So on my little toolbar, I'm coming to media. I can search through photos. So if I wanted to find somebody that maybe looked like me or just a person in general, I could search through the Adobe stock library. It's filtered for K-12. I do have that option available. But directly above it on this purple button, there's an option to upload from your device. So I'm going to pick upload from my device and I am going to go grab a picture of myself and hands up. That's the one we're going to go for. I'm going to add in this hands up picture of myself. Now, when I do, what's going on all around me, right? I've got like the woods. I'm in the middle of the woods here. And the picture that we had before, let me undo, had just the girl, no background. One of the great features of Adobe Express is the ability to very easily and quickly remove a background. And when I say remove a background, I mean any background. That's why I picked this specific picture because I'm not standing in front of a solid colored wall or background. So once I have that picture added, I just need to come on over here to the left in my panel, and there's an option. It's a dog. So you're looking for the pup is what I always say, and you're going to click on remove background. When you do, Adobe Express within just a few seconds is going to remove that background and leave you with just the person. It also removed the stump that I was sitting on. I also had a water bottle between my legs that it also removed as well. So it found what is the focal point of this picture in the foreground and it got rid of everything else. Now, if you're saying, Lori, what if it accidentally erased something that I really need? Right? Thanks for that thumbs up, Nancy. What if it erased something I need? Or what if it didn't get everything that I need for it to erase? Well, right above our little pup, you have an option for erase, and it's the green frog that you're looking for. And that tool right there is going to allow you to customize what got erased. Because right now that I'm looking at this, I can kind of tell that my hair up here at the top also got erased right there. So what I can do is I can restore this. So I'm going to click restore and then I can change my brush type. You've got two different brush types that you can play around with. You can change the size as well. And then if I need to, I can come in here and add back in my hair. I've never noticed that it's done that before. It's the first time, right? If I wanted the water bottle in there too, I could erase the water, bring the water bottle back, or even the stump. If I wanted the stump to show up, I can bring that back too so that it can show that I'm actually sitting on something and I'm not just hanging out in midair, right? So you can erase or restore items from that picture when you choose to remove the background. You do have that option in there too. Then when I click on done, it's going to bring that picture back and there is that photo. I kind of like it without the stump though, so we're going to leave it stump free. Let me know that question. You got a question?
Yes, please. What did you click on to get to erase and restore?
So right here, when I have the picture selected, I'm going to click on the option that looks like a frog over on the left-hand side. So I'm going to click on the frog first. And then once I click on that frog, these are all of my settings that I can then edit. So I can either choose to erase more. So I can erase parts of that picture. So there I'm erasing my hand and my arm. Or I can choose the option to restore. And then I can paint to bring items back. So I can bring back my hair here if I need to have my hair on my head. And then all I need to do is click done. You're welcome. And there is my picture. That photo can then be resized, so I can resize it if I need to. And now it fits into my picture. So instead of having someone else on my I am creative photo, I have myself. Okay. So again, all I need to do to edit these options for the text, double click and I can change that text. If you want to change the font as well, if you don't like the font that's picked, you can also change your font size. You can change the font type. You can even come down to fill and change the color as well. Another option, if you want to play around with those colors some more, you do have a background color option up here at the top that you can use to change the background color. So if yellow is not your color, it's not everybody's color, I can maybe make this bright pink. I could make it teal. I could come in here to more colors and pick any color that I possibly want. And again, to edit these different objects, you select the object, hit delete to get it off, and then add in a new element either under elements or under media. Okay. The last thing that I do want to talk about is over on the right-hand side of the screen, you may or may not have noticed all these little white boxes. This is called your layer stack. So as you're adding elements on your file, it's going to stack them as they get added directly on top of each other. So over here on my file, I added in my Legos, and then I added in the picture of myself. So the Legos are underneath the picture of myself because my picture's on top. If I want to reorder elements in a mini programs, what you usually do is you right click and you choose bring forward, send back, etc. With this layer stack, you can simply drag and drop. So if I want my picture of myself underneath the Lego, I just need to grab it on that layers panel and drag it down, and it'll reorder those layers that way. So it makes it really nice. I think that's one of my favorite features about Adobe Express is that layer stack over there on the side. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give y'all about 5 minutes. Let me pop back over and make sure that is correct on my timer. 5 minutes to continue editing that graphic, to talk about yourself. What are some things that are creative that you do? And creativity, remember, is in the eye of the beholder. You may not think Legos are creative, but I do, right? Yes, you can still use control and the arrows to reorder as well, Sarah asked. So yes, you can. When I right click on this, you'll see I'm on a Mac, so mine have the command. Oh, it's not command and arrows. Look, it's command and the bracket keys on mine. When you right click, your shortcuts may be different than mine since I'm on a Mac. So yours might actually be arrow keys as opposed to these brackets. So just double check by right clicking and you'll see the little shortcut over here off to the side of it if you want to use shortcuts instead of using that layers panel. Good question. So I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes. I'm gonna set the timer and let you work. If you have questions, drop them into the chat or come off of mute and we'll get those questions answered while you are being creative and updating that graphic for yourself. Yes, there is a template, a link to the template. If you click in look at the pinned messages, FriEDTech/Adobe hyphen create, and you're clicking on this button up here at the top that says I am creative template. That's a template we're working from right now. Okay, Wendy asked, when students save their work, does it save in OneDrive? Will it eventually connect to their Google Drive? So it all saves in Adobe Express. It's not connected to OneDrive. It's not connected to Google Drive. So as they create, they'll create all within Adobe Express. Everything saves into the Your Stuff area of Adobe Express. In order for them to get their work or share their work with you, what they'll do is they'll click on download, which is exactly what I was about to show you next. So once you're done with that graphic, or once your students are done, they'll click download, and there are 3 different file formats on how they can be shared or saved. So they can be saved as a PNG, a JPEG, or a PDF. So you have all of those different options. They would download that graphic. Simply click that download button. It'll take just a few seconds, and then it downloads to the device. In my case, I'm on a computer, so it went to the downloads folder on my computer. Once it's there, then I can then upload or share that file with my teacher, whichever method is available within the district. Good question. The benefit of a PNG is they're usually higher quality. The other thing that PNGs are good for is if the background color that you pick up here, when you choose background color, if you pick transparent, which is this option right here, this no fill, if I pick no fill, I get this like kind of tic-tac-toe grid. So when I download this as a PNG, that transparency remains. So there's no background image. So I can put this, it's basically like removing the background of something that we did, just like we removed the background of my photo. If I were to save this as a JPEG, the background color would be white. It forces a background color. Wendy, you have another question?
Yeah, so that's kind of my question was, once you download it, right, our students only have Chromebooks, so it's got to go, it doesn't have a hard drive. So it has to go to either OneDrive or Google. And right now, Adobe won't it go to our Google Drives, the students' Google Drives. So I just wanted to make sure that it would be in their OneDrive, because then it's trying to teach students, I teach K to 5, so little people, how to then take it from OneDrive to put it into Brightspace if they're going to turn it in, because we can't access their Adobe Express, correct?
Correct. You can't get inside of their Adobe Express. And Stephanie, I believe everything she said is correct for the Chromebooks. They'll when they download the file, it downloads onto the Chromebook,
Yes, it
and
does.
so then it's not really in their Google Drive until they put it into their Google Drive. Is that correct, Stephanie, how y'all have your Chromebook set up?
So I'd have to look. That's how it used to be, but I think there's an option to send to your Google Drive once it's in your download. But I'll get that information. I'll send it to you, Wendy, and I'll make sure that it goes in the FAQs for the eCoach responses.
That would be
Perfect.
great. Thank you. I'm just trying to think of instructions to give students, or create a step-by-step instructions for how students, when they download it, where does it go and how do you upload it to Brightspace? Trying to get those steps clear, because there's no sense in getting them to make a really great project that I can't then see later.
Yeah, I think we
Absolutely.
already have them. While we're in the session, I'll go and I'll look into the teacher intro and see what they have there. And if not, we'll make some.
Great. Thank you.
Perfect. Y'all are the best. Y'all got a great team with y'all, right? So once those are there, once you're done, download, they're going to get that figured out for y'all, and then the students would share it back to you. You could do the exact same thing. So you could download this graphic, and then you have the ability to post that wherever you want to post it: Twitter, Instagram, in an email, on your website, in a Google Slides file. You have all of those options because now it's an actual downloaded file. Okay. There are some other great places besides just this one that I showed you myself that you can go and get additional challenges within there. A couple of those places are linked on that resource site. So the creative challenges is there, that you can click on, and let me pop on over to mine. So this creative challenges link is going to bring you to all of the different creative challenges that are available from Adobe. All of these include editable templates. Going to get stuck on my words there, right? So an editable template that you can use. They're also usually tagged with a grade level and a content area. However, I want you to not get stuck on the grade level and the content area that's shown, because in the end, it's a template that could be used in a number of different ways. So for example, I just had it, the bird one that I skipped on right by. Oh, I went too far again. Here we go. This bird one right here is all about a school's bird watch that they're doing. But if I click on this, it says this one is geared towards secondary social sciences. I'm going to click on this one to select it so you can see the basic layout of what all of these challenges look like. They include a student version, a version that has been completed, so you can see a completed version. This one has a bird name, an interesting fact about a bird, physical features, habitat, and diet. Basically, this is just labeling and putting information and facts about something. So it doesn't have to be about a bird. It could be, I could be teaching science, and this could be an element on the periodic table, and I'm putting all of those great facts about that element on the periodic table. It could be about a specific country. So I could have the country picture on the side, and then an interesting fact about the country, physical features about the country, habitat about the country, and then maybe culture and foods that are available in that country. From here, over on the left, there is also always an option for an editable template. Once you click on that editable template option, you can see here is the template that you're starting from. And in order to open, or the link that you would share with the students for them to create from that template, it's available right there where you see that open button. So if I were to click on that open button, it will automatically open that template for me so that I can start creating and editing this template. So again, that would be the link that you would share with your kiddos, this link right here. And then over also on the left is always a lesson plan as well. And most of the lesson plans include step-by-step instructions, and some of them also include gradable rubrics that you'll be able to grade your students on as well. So again, that link that I got to was this Creative Challenges button under Extra Resources. Also available underneath Extra Resources is the monthly challenge. And the activity that we just completed is a previous monthly challenge that Adobe Express released. They release it every month. These also include those lesson plans and templates. And if you click on monthly learning challenges, you'll see the learning challenge for this month for March. It's a video. And if you joined me earlier, it is what we completed and part of that training as well. So they also usually include a video tutorial for the students. And then if you complete the monthly challenge with your kiddos and you submit, you have the chance to win prizes. And this month, they're giving away Stanley tumblers. It's a big sell, right? Every month they give away some great prizes. So it's just another way to, sometimes it's the teachers get the prize only, and sometimes it's the entire class gets the prize. So again, those are located underneath that monthly learning challenges there on that page. So how can we incorporate all of these monthly challenges into our instruction and into the classroom? A few different ways that we can do that is we can use the current challenge with a new prompt. So just like I said, that the bird example, I could use that with a number of different content areas. I can go and look through all of those different challenges on the Adobe Education Exchange for maybe something that's not with the current month, but maybe already happened. Or you can also look at some other remixable templates within those creative challenges. So here's an example from a previous monthly challenge that was all about who I am, very similar to the one that we just did together. And many educators, including Jeff and Cassidy, have taken those prompts, given them to their students, and completely altered them into new challenges to apply to their classes and their curriculum. So we have seen the identity challenge that was a challenge from last year remixed into historical figures, like you see over here on the left, as well as characters in literature, or even for math. So what shape am I? And the students describe that shape all the way around it. The possibilities are 100% completely limitless. So what we're going to do is take a look at another challenge, and you're going to look at how you can turn that poster challenge that we're going to look at into a new prompt for your own class with your own content area. So this poster challenge is again linked on that resource site. So it's the second button down, poster challenge template. I'm going to come over here myself and click on it so mine opens. So poster challenge template. And we're going to take a look at the different parts of this challenge. So again, it opens up as a template, and then we have to click in the bottom right-hand corner, the remix this design. Now, this specific poster for this challenge talks all about ice cream. One of my favorite things, right? Ice cream doesn't necessarily fit into every single classroom. 3 reasons ice cream is America's most favorite dessert. Maybe I want to find out what South Africa's favorite dessert is, or what is France's favorite dessert, and go find all of that information about it. So first we have to look at what are some of the opportunities for our poster or for our challenge, and how can we turn it into something that fits our own content area. So up here at the top, we've got a title, so we can edit that title and make it our own. On the right, we've got a picture that we've went and found that goes along with that title. In the middle, we've got just a simple text here in the middle for a paragraph or an introduction. And then underneath it, 3 kind of facts, again, with icons and pictures. And at the very bottom, we have a citation documentation down there. Good question. How do you assign a specific template to the students? So what you would do is, if you wanted your students utilizing that template, this button right here is a link. So what you could do is right click on that button, just making sure we are seeing this, and choose copy link address. And that link is what I would give to my students in your learning management system that you use. So you would say, students, use this link to make your own copy to then be able to edit. That's how you would give that template out to them. You're just giving them the link, and then they're going to click through and make that copy on their own. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if that makes sense. So once they have that that template, we've got this one all about ice cream. We can then turn this into something that I could use in a number of different ways. 3 non-negotiables for Mr. White's classroom. Again, same template. We've just changed a lot of the text. We changed the pictures. 3 word parts to help you with reading and writing. And we've got those 3 different word parts: at, op, and app. And then the last one is more than a dog. What a bull terrier, and all the facts about a bull terrier. So you can see how each of these individual teachers took this same poster and turned it into their own version for their own classroom. Sarah.
I can help answer that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Sarah, you would have to actually on the right-hand side of the template, there was, I'm going to have to go back to the one I just created. There was, let me see, you go to share, and then there's a little drop down that says who has access, and you have to change it to everyone in Anne Arundel County Public Schools, just like you would, like in the Google Drive. And then you can copy the link and probably, you might be able to share it on Brightspace. I know I posted it on Brightspace, but I haven't tested to see if my students have access to it.
Perfect, thank you.
So,
and they also said in the chat, there's also instructions on sharing templates with students in your OIIT's Teacher Intro to Digital Tools under Application Support. So that's there as well. So that if you do create your own templates, you'll be able to share those out easily with your kiddos.
Yeah, and there's also ways for students to share these directly with you. So just like on the Google Drive, when you type in the username, the students, you can type in your name as one of the things, and you can have access to their project.
Perfect. Okay, so in our next step, what we're going to do is that template that I just gave you for the ice cream facts. We have about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes to begin to start editing this template to think about, how could I use this in my own content area? Something that you might be doing now or in the future that you might want students creating, excuse me, a poster based around that item within your own curriculum. And what you're creating is basically an exemplar example for your students so that they can be able to see how it's connecting to their own curriculum. Because some students would look at this ice cream example and not be able to make a connection on how I can turn this into something for this specific unit that we're doing within social studies. Okay, so I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes to continue your exploration and editing that graphic on your own, and then we'll come back together. If you finish it, or if you are willing to want to share either now or later, there is a link to a Padlet on our resource document. So right here, Padlet, share your creation. So if you do finish or you want to share it out later, you can share it out into your specific content area column. And you might also want to just explore these as well to see how other teachers have updated and remixed this same template for different content areas. Okay, so that is available as well. So I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back together to wrap everything up. If you have questions while you're working, drop them in the chat or raise your hand and let me know, and we'll get those questions answered as well.
I couldn't quite get my text to animate. Do you, I was clicking on like to make it loop around, but it wasn't quite working. Do you know how to make that happen?
So whenever you select any object, if you go all the way down to the bottom to animate, you have to select if you're wanting it to loop. And then all you need to do is just click on whichever option that you want that animation effect to happen. So I clicked blinking on that one. So now
So I clicked looping. Oh, I didn't see I got it. Gotcha. Okay, now it's working. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I also found the information for when a student downloads on the Chromebook, it automatically goes to the student's Google Drive. And I also put on a link to how to put it in Brightspace too.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm sorry for interrupting, but can you show us where to get to the monthly challenge? I was caught up in another feature of Adobe and missed it.
That's okay. I'm going to come back over to our resource page. And then on the resource page, there's a button that says monthly learning challenges. And when you click on that, it'll open to the current month. If you want to see previous challenges, there's 2 ways you can get there. If you scroll all the way down, they've got a few of the previous ones on the main page. And then if you click Explore Now, it'll open all of them up for you to be able to see the previous monthly challenges. And then another way to see all of the creative challenges in general is clicking on this Creative Challenges button on our resource document.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question based off that too. So I have the link to the create page, but how do you get to, do you have to have the link that you sent in the messages, or can we access that through the just Adobe application?
To this page right here?
Yes.
So you can bookmark this page in your Chrome
Okay.
browser and save it. All of these are just other links that go out to other pages. So if you wanted to make sure and save your monthly learning challenges, once that's open, you can add a bookmark to it as well. A couple of different ways you could do the bookmark. You can click on that star button on your Chrome toolbar, or the method that I always like to use is this little button next to your web address. We call them the kebabs. We have food names for everything here at Fried. So those look like shish kebabs, right? So you click on the kebabs, and then if you just drag it down to your toolbar to your bookmarks bar, it'll live there as well.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Go ahead, Stacy.
Hi. So I had tried sharing this one time with my students, and they were able to edit my original document. And so I'm in here playing around with this new one, and I don't see the button that you were speaking about on how to share it with the students so they each get their own copy.
Okay, I will now. So let's say this is the template that I created, or the file that I want to share with my students. What you'll do is up in the upper right hand corner, you should have a purple share button. You'll click on that share button. Mine's not wanting to share. Let's refresh them. There's actually two ways to do this. I like the share button because it's right there and I can see it. Once you come to this share menu that pops up, in this little kind of gray area, there's an option that says who has access. And by default, it'll say only invited people can access. But if you click on that drop down box, you can actually change it to everyone at, and yours is going to have your school. I don't know the exact wording on what y'all's is called there.
It's going to say everyone at MEEC, Anne Arundel County.
Perfect. So that's what yours will say. And then there's another one right below it that says anyone with the link. If you choose anyone with the link, they don't have to be logged in order to access it. If you choose the everyone at your school district one, then they have to be logged into your specific school district account. Like if you picked this and you tried to share it with me, I wouldn't be able to access it, if that makes sense.
But next to where it says everyone in Anne Arundel County, there's a second link that says either can comment or can edit.
Yep, it hasn't popped up yet because I haven't selected it yet. So once I click on that, then over here to the right, there's two options, can comment or can edit. So you'll want to pick can comment. Now it's still going to give students the ability to comment on the document, but they can't make changes to your actual document. Okay. So then once that's done, you'll click copy link, and it copies that link to the clipboard. I'm going to pop over to a different account. And then this is the link, whatever that link is you copied, that's the link you would share with your kids through your learning management system. And then when the kids go there, this is what it would look like. So it's going to look, oops, I probably actually need to be in that account because I didn't do, let's try that again. Let's try this one more time. Okay, so then this is what it'll look like for the students when they open it. So it's got the preview, and then it's got comments off to the side. What the kids then have to do is up at the very top, there's three dots. They'll click on that three dot button, and then they'll choose duplicate file. And once they duplicate the file, it makes a copy into their own Adobe Express.
Perfect. That makes a lot of sense now. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. If you want to share to the Padlet, on the Create webpage, you'll click on that Padlet Share Your Creation. And then depending on what content area you are, you'll click on the plus sign underneath it. And then there is a button to upload, and you'll upload your PNG and it will appear. We have just about a minute left, so just a quick reminder, you do have access to this webpage. You will continue to have access to this webpage and all of those links. And the only other thing that I have for you is I do have an evaluation link that we have from Adobe, and I believe they'll be sharing your attendance link in the chat as well. If you have any questions, let me know. We are at time, but I can stick around and answer them. And if you're interested in learning even more about Adobe, the 240 session, I'll be showing some quick and easy ways that you can use Adobe Express beyond just graphic creation. Thank y'all so much for your time, and have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have when you do searches on here, can you search like other people's projects from like all over the place, or is it only local?
No, it's only Adobe created options that they've put into their library.
Okay.
Yep. Good question.
I forgot to click on the attendance link. Is it? Oh, I see it. Never mind. Got it.
Any more questions for me? Not from me. Any more questions for me from anybody? Okay, thank y'all so much.
Thanks again.